Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Pro Body Lifestyle Podcast, where we teach you how to live a life worth living. My name is Melissa Prochuk. This is my husband, Janos Prochuk. And in today's episode, we're going to teach you why your weight is fluctuating on the scales.
Yeah, this is a massive topic that we get. A lot of our clients, especially if they've struggled with this in the past, they might be fearful of the scale, or the moment they start weighing in, they're doing really well when they see the scale coming down. But then the moment they see it bounce up for one day, they let it completely derail their progress and they completely fall off track.
I totally understand why people get disheartened by it though, because when you're putting so much work and effort into something and you've decided you want to go against your old habits and start new habits, when the scale isn't cooperating, you're like, oh, why? And it's very easy to think, oh, I might as well just give up and have the chocolate. I totally understand that.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where like a lot of people might think, okay, well, because the weight fluctuates all the time, then what's the point of taking it? Like there's no reason to take it. But the reason we tell a lot of our clients to take their body measurements and to do it daily is because it's one of the easiest and quickest way to get feedback on how your body is changing. And it's one of those like quick daily reminders of the journey that you're on to keep you accountable every single day. The problem is when you don't understand why it fluctuates, or you don't understand how to interpret your weight loss, that's where it can get in your head and get really emotional. So that's really why we wanted to record this episode today, is to really give you context about why your body weight might fluctuate, what you can do to help counter it to a degree. We don't want to completely get rid of fluctuations, and really just put you at ease with tracking your progress.
Yeah, and I think it's important to remind everyone that fluctuations are very normal. And Janos and I fluctuate. All of our clients who we train fluctuate. And we have to remind our clients pretty much every week why they're fluctuating and the reasons behind it. And that's why we wanted to go through the reasons why you may be fluctuating in this episode. And if you ever feel like you're forgetting why, or you're having a bad time weighing yourself in and just feeling overwhelmed that your progress isn't going the way you want it to go, this is an episode that you can keep coming back to. Like, I know we're definitely going to be sending this episode to our clients over and over and over again, so we don't have to keep repeating ourselves. So yeah, I'm very excited for today's episode.
Yeah, and when you do fully start to understand your body and how it works, it does take away that anxiety and the emotionality behind weighing in on the scale.
Yeah.
So one of the first things I wanted to start with is why your weight does fluctuate and what it is. And I think one of the biggest things that people miss is that your body weight isn't actually a set number. Your body weight is actually a range. Okay, and this is where a lot of people miss. Like, for example, me, I have an empty body weight where if I've gotten rid of all of the poop in my body, if I haven't got anything in my stomach, if I'm dehydrated, right? So it's the weight of your body when you're empty. My empty weight is 70. But then I have a full body weight, which is if I eat all the food and I've got a bloated stomach, if I haven't gone on the toilet for a while, if I am just full, I've got a full body weight of 72 kilos. So the biggest thing to realize is that your body weight isn't a specific number, which is why it does fluctuate daily, but you're actually a weight range where you're going to have a high weight range, which will be for me 72, and then there's a low weight range, which is usually 1 to 2 kilos less, which is 70. So that's the first thing, is realize that you're not a single body weight, but you're actually a weight range. You got an empty weight and you got a full weight. So Mel, can you maybe tell us a few of the reasons why you might realize that you're fluctuating and why it goes up and down?
Yeah, I first wanted to add that I want you all to remember that when you step on the scale measures body mass, not body fat. And when you step on the scale, it measures the force of gravity pulling on your entire body, and body fat is just one component of that. So as Janos was saying, he's got that empty weight and also that full body weight. So some of my clients sometimes jump on the scale. They're like, wow, Mel, oh my goodness, I've lost 1.5 kilos in a day. And I'm like, that is your empty body weight. It's not that we've lost that kilo overnight or 1.5 kilos overnight. It's that your body has finally emptied, whether you've gone to the toilet, etc. So there are so many components that week by week you're impacted by that we'll go through now.
Why don't you take us through some of those?
Yes, I will go through that now. I just had a mind blank there. Sorry, guys. Did you see my eyes go, what? The first thing is that may impact your fluctuations on the scale is your carbohydrate intake. So whenever we have carbs, they store as glycogen, and glycogen holds onto a lot of water. Now, a lot of my female clients especially will be like, well, Mel, I'm not going to have carbs. And that's not what we want to be doing. We want to be making sure we're eating carbs because carbs have a great purpose to give us energy, to maintain, and to be able to push in the gym, which is exactly what we need. But they do hold on to a lot more water weight than other macronutrients. So if you do have a higher carb diet, you find that you had more of a carby dinner the night before, your weight will fluctuate the next day, but it's not your true weight. It's not like that's your body fat. That is just the body mass that your body's trying to digest and get through those carbs overnight.
Yeah, and you remember, going back to what I said, you have the empty body weight and you have a full body weight. So you could immediately, for example, one of the next points is water retention, right? So you might immediately be a kilo heavier the next day after losing a kilo and be like, oh no, what's happened? But literally, if you drank a kilo of water, you would now be a kilo heavier, not of body fat, you haven't gained a kilo, but it's just you've got water in your body. And so it's just with all of these points we're going through right now, just remember that you have an empty body weight and then you have a 1 to 2 kilo high body weight, which is when you're full. So all of these points can either increase your body weight or they can decrease your body weight within that 2 kilo to 3 kilo fluctuation range.
Yeah, and the reason we like our clients to actually weigh in daily is so when they do have those fluctuations, we can tell them to look at that data and let's understand why those fluctuations have happened. So we really highly suggest you go through the list we're about to go through, including the carbohydrate intake, and go, okay, did any of these happen in the last 24 hours? Yes, that's probably why my scale has fluctuated. And something really important to say as well is if you've put on like 1.5 kilos overnight, it's not body fat that you've put on. It actually takes eating over 7,700 calories over your maintenance calories to put on 1 kilo of body fat. So if you haven't had 7,700 calories overnight, then it isn't body fat. It's definitely something to do with this list that we're about to go through.
Yeah, that's definitely a reminder that I remind myself of as well.
Yes.
When I do see a high fluctuation on the scale, I don't worry because I know that, okay, if it's telling me I'm 1 kilo up from yesterday, I know that I didn't eat 7,000 extra calories.
I do question myself
yesterday.
Sometimes. I'm like, did I have that much chocolate? No, I didn't.
And so that's where if you answer that saying, well, no, I didn't eat 7,000 extra calories, then that kilo weight gain must be something else.
Yeah, I love your point there, how you don't worry. And it truly takes that overwhelm and anxiety away from stepping on the scale because you just go to the list and go, okay, was it any of these points? Yes, it was. I don't have to stress. I must not be at my empty body weight right now.
Yeah.
Really great point.
And so then you just follow the plan and don't let it rattle you.
Yes. Another point is sodium intake. So did you have extra salt overnight? So you may have gone out for dinner. And I know a lot of my clients will be like, Mel, I stuck to my calories. I even chose a meal outside at this pub that was within my calories and we went through it together. But you don't understand that most restaurants want food to taste delicious and salt is going to be added when there's nothing wrong with salt. But what salt does is it causes fluid retention. So it is going to make that scale jump overnight.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Sometimes you are perfect at tracking your calories. You are perfect at following your diet and you have eaten a lower calorie diet. But the thing is that if you did eat higher salt content, or like you said before, higher carb content, then both of those things cause retention of water. So even though you were perfect on your calories and your diet the day before, you might notice when you wake up in the morning, you will see, oh, how did I gain 1 kilo when I was perfect on my calories?
Yes.
And that's where, again, you bring it back to, well, did you eat 7,000 extra calories?
Nope.
No. So it must be something else. It must be the salt content or the carb content that you just consumed.
Definitely. The next point is something that usually is the reason why you fluctuated overnight, and it's your digestion. Now, I have a few points to talk about here because your digestion can really impact the scales dramatically. And the first point is, have you gone to the toilet and done a number 2? We sound pretty creepy asking our clients this constantly and being like, have you gone to the toilet? Have you done a number 2? Like if we just text that to our friends, it'd be really weird. But to our clients, we really want to know how long haven't you gone to the toilet? Because it's just sitting there waiting to go. And when finally you go, guess what? That weight's coming back down to those empty calories there.
It's so funny when we get a message, panics client, they've weighed in, they've got a high, and they're like, oh my gosh, the weight. And we're like, have you gone to the toilet for the last few days? They're like, no. And then it's like, oh, anxiety gone. They've just reminded themselves of that.
Yeah, I love those messages. I sit there and I go, okay, sleeves up. Let's go. Have you gone to the toilet? Have you had salt? Have you had this? And it's just nice for clients to go, And it's okay. Don't feel embarrassed right now if you have had those moments of stress, anxiety when the scale does go up. I totally understand that. I have moments like that still, but I always just go through the list. So the second point with digestion is in a deficit, you've got to remember that your digestion actually slows down. So when you start to eat less food, your body doesn't have that much food to digest anymore. So it slows down the digestion as well, which hence you're probably not going to the toilet as much. So I know a lot of my clients, and I'm sure yours as well, when they go into a deficit, they're like, Mel, I'm really struggling to go to the toilet. And as soon as they go to the toilet, their weight comes down about 1 kilo. So that's another point. The third one is, this is a great point. I say that because I've written it, is having food that your body's not used to. And what I mean by that is a lot of my clients will have pretty set standard foods they have throughout the week, and then they have foods that are quite different over the weekend. Now, even if they've stuck to their calories over the weekend, having different foods, your body like looks at it as a stress. It's like, whoa, I haven't digested a Big Mac in a while. How do I do this? And it stresses out and causes a bit of water retention, but then eventually it works through that. So that's another reason as well. Do you have any points there?
No, I love it.
Well, I'll go into my last point. And if your diet has more protein and fiber in it right now, that also causes your digestion to slow down slightly. And the reason for that is when you eat protein or fiber, it takes a little bit longer for those macronutrients to digest in comparison to fats and carbs. So there's nothing wrong with having protein. There are so many benefits to protein, and we push for our clients to have a lot of protein for many reasons. But just understand that with a higher protein diet, a higher fiber diet that's so good for you, is going to digest that little bit slower and make your scale weight just fluctuate slightly.
I love that. Another one that I know is a big one, especially for females, is hormones. So recognizing that depending on the period of your cycle, the week of your cycle, you're going to have different hormones for each of those weeks of your cycle. Okay.
Yes.
And so it's just a big reminder that each week of your cycle, your hormones might be up and down. For men as well, we do have hormones not as fluctuating as females, but just remembering that hormones also play a massive part in your water retention and all those other factors, obviously cravings, all those types of things. So hormones can be another reason why your weight might be fluctuating up and down as well.
That's a great point. I love that you said that as well. And I know a lot of my female clients compare themselves to their partners who decide to go on a weight loss journey as well and lose weight really quickly, and their scale just looks like the graph just looks so linear, and they're like, why am I fluctuating so much? And we have to remember that if you do have a regular menstrual 28-day cycle, or whatever your cycle is, you are going to go through the phases of, your follicular phase, which is much calmer, but then your luteal phase is your body preparing to shed the lining of your uterus. That is a massive stress to your body. And when the hormone progesterone rises in week 3 or 4 of your cycle, it does cause more inflammation in your body because it is preparing to shed the lining. And that is a lot. And when you understand that, you go, it's actually okay to fluctuate slightly around those 2 weeks leading into my period. So, and also like when you are on your luteal phase, so leading into your period, you do have those extra cravings. So you may be having more carby foods, some more sugary sweets. So don't feel disheartened around those 2 weeks. If anything, I kind of plan ahead for that and go, okay, can I track around those meals? But that's another point. But a woman usually fluctuates around 1 to 2 kilos leading into their period, and it's very normal. I could eat the exact same thing throughout my entire menstrual cycle, and those 2 weeks leading into my period, I always fluctuate about 1.5 kilos. And that's why I like my female clients to track their weigh-ins daily, because I like them to see the trend every time before their period comes and how it fluctuates, so they understand that it's actually okay to fluctuate.
And this is the secret to feeling okay with body weight, right? To feel okay with weighing yourself on the scale and not be fearful, is learn to understand your body. Learn to interpret why it fluctuates, why it might go up and down. Because what we're talking about with all of these points, the point is not to dehydrate yourself, is not to not eat carbs, is not to do all of these things. It's realizing that those are healthy functions of the body, and that because of that, it's just understanding that it's just the way it is. Your body will fluctuate within a 1 to 2 kilo range. And it's just learning to be okay with that, and then interpreting the data based on those fluctuations. And that's one of the reasons we love people taking their weight daily, because then you start to see and understand how your body works over the weeks. And then also make sure it's graphed in some sort of app. Like our app creates a graph for you so that you can literally see the ups and downs of the body weight. And it's kind of like investing in stocks, right? Or finances. You're not looking at the day-to-day fluctuations where they go up, they go down, they go up, they go down. What you're looking at is you're trying to zoom out and look at the overall trend line over, okay, it's gone up to up and down day to day, but what has it done over the week when you've been consistent? What has it done over 2 weeks? What has it done over a month of being consistent? And then that's where, when you start to look at the graph, you start to trust and see, oh, that's my 1 to 2 kilo body weight range going up and down. I don't need to stress when I see that fluctuation based on something. And then you can look at those factors and realize, okay, did I have extra water yesterday? Did I have extra sodium? Am I on a week of my cycle where I'm going to have extra water retention? Am I blocked up? Did I drink more alcohol the day before? That also causes retention. Did I have extra food yesterday and that's why my stomach's still bloated from yesterday? So it's just asking yourself that question before panicking and allowing yourself to completely go off your plan and derail it, because then that will cause fat gain. When you get derailed and you allow it to get emotional and you allow it to be like, oh my gosh, I'm up a kilo from yesterday. So what's the point? I'm not going to do my exercise. I'm not going to follow the plan.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think that's why it's important to trust a coach to begin with to help you through this season, because I know a lot of my clients will freak out if they fluctuate 2 to 3 days in a row. And like you said, it's about zooming out of the big picture. But when you start this journey of losing weight, you don't have the big picture yet. It's like stepping into uncertainty. It actually is quite scary to go, oh, but what if it doesn't go down? And that's why we work with clients to make sure that we understand the trends and we make sure that at least from point A to point B, we're going down. But between that point A and point B, there's going to be a lot of fluctuations. We just want to make sure the fluctuations are going down, like down the graph. So sometimes people make quick adjustments to go, oh, just eat less calories and I'll move more. And it's like, you actually don't need to do that. Just give your body time to move through these fluctuations and then allow to see after a week or two what's going to actually happen.
And also realizing it's normal. Like normal. Like the goal is not to stop fluctuating.
Yeah,
it's to realize that the body fluctuates, wait for this, on purpose.
Wait for this,
right? No, because the body is smart. Like God created us smart. He created our bodies as an extremely just crazy machine where the reason it fluctuates is often for your own benefit.
Yeah,
so
great point.
Losing an extra kilo by dehydrating yourself doesn't make you lose any fat faster.
Yeah.
Right? The body wants the water retention to help hydrate you, to help you, move better, to use your body functioning better.
Yeah.
Same with the period cycle, right? The reason your body has water retention is to prepare for a potential baby.
Yeah.
Right? And so trying to go against your body having these normal fluctuations is not what we're about. What we're telling you right now is to understand that your body will fluctuate and to ease your anxiety, just asking yourself these questions about one of these things. And this is where having us in your back pocket helps that, because then our clients, when they experience fluctuations, they can message us and then we can calm their anxiety and calm their nerves.
Yeah, I love that.
We're empowering you guys today to be able to do that yourselves by just understanding that it's normal to fluctuate.
I agree.
So maybe can you tell us a few things that we can do to reduce the fluctuation? So like we were saying, it's normal. We don't want to stop fluctuating altogether. But what are some things we can do when we're weighing in daily to reduce the variability that we're going to see on the scale?
I think weighing yourself in daily at the exact same time. I know I tell a lot of my clients to weigh in. I tell them to do it naked on the scale early in the morning, because that's the most accurate way to do it. When you've gone to the toilet, weigh yourself in, log it down somewhere, whether it's in our app or in a notepad or in your notes app, whatever it is, and then just start to see the trends over a 2 week to 3 week period. And if things still aren't changing, then maybe that means you aren't in a calorie deficit, or we need to move our bodies a little bit more, but usually comes down to that calorie deficit.
Yeah, and I like to advise my clients the same. So I always tell them, aim to be consistent with doing it in the morning, before you've eaten food, after you've gone to the toilet. Be as consistent as possible. But you can still weigh in at nighttime. You just have to realize that if you weigh in the morning and you've just, you're essentially trying to get yourself to weigh in as your low weight. You want to be as empty as possible to get consistently your low weight.
Yes. Realizing
that it's impossible to fully empty your body of all the water and all the things. Even if you went to the toilet, you've still got half of your food that's still left in your stomach and in process in your digestive system, through your intestines and things.
Yeah.
But the goal is to get you as close as possible to the empty weight, while realizing that if you did weigh in at nighttime, you're probably going to be higher because you've had food throughout the day, water, salts, and you might be more towards your higher fluctuation if you're weighing in at night
Yeah.
time.
And another key point why you may be fluctuating comes down to stress and sleep. And a lot of people forget that, and they just think, oh, I don't need sleep and I live a very, really stressful life, but I'll be in a calorie deficit and I'll lose weight. And it doesn't mean you can't lose weight if you live a stressed life or if you don't get much sleep, because we understand we've got a lot of mothers listening to this podcast or people with very stressful lives. We understand that. But just remember that when we stress, our cortisol hormone levels rise. And whenever those cortisol levels rise, we do experience water retention as well. So it doesn't mean stress puts on weight, because I know a lot of people believe that myth. I'm stressed, so I'm putting on weight. It doesn't cause you to put on weight. It causes water retention for a small period of time. So that's something to really understand as well. That's why we say weigh in the morning after a good night's sleep if possible, because that will be the true weight. But if you aren't sleeping, yeah, try and fix that, please.
And by the way, guys, this is the exact same thing with when you read on packets that it's like on any pills or any prescription medication.
Love this point.
When it says that it may cause weight gain, what it means is that it might have a temporary weight gain, but then it's not going to keep indefinitely causing weight gain. Because if you're continuing, like once you've had that initial 1 to 2 kilos of water retention, then beyond that, that's you actually putting on body fat, because now you're like, oh, it's just the weight gain because of the pills. So then you're now eating more food because you're careless.
Yeah.
And now that's what's causing the weight gain.
Yeah.
Where sometimes it might make you more hungry. But again, it's not that the pill that you're having is causing you to gain weight. It's that it's making you feel more hungry, which makes it harder to be in a deficit, which is why you're continuing to have weight gain. But just remember that when you do have any of these fluctuations, you might gain an initial 1 or 2 kilos, but then that's it. If you start seeing that over a week or 2 weeks, it's still going up, then that's where you might need to look at something in your training or nutrition plan and change something there.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. And I know a lot of my female clients come to me, if they've ever been on the contraceptive pill, they will say, oh, I went on the pill a few years ago and I've put on 15 kilos. Yes, that initial 1 to 2 kilos does come from that extra water retention. Your body's getting used to a new hormone in your body. That is totally understandable. But the extra 13 kilos on top of that has come down to you eating that little bit more, you exercising that little bit less over time. You didn't realize it happened overnight, but it happens eventually. And that compound effect of not doing all those things has led to that point. So we're not saying, we're not judging you if you do have that belief, but I know in society right now, in social media, people do say that a lot. Even if they get, I actually had a client recently say, oh, I can't lose weight because I have Hashimoto's disease. And I completely broke that myth off her. And I was like, let's actually look at your nutrition first and look at your training. She's now lost 5 kilos. And it all comes down to just taking responsibility for your life and understanding that there are factors that make you fluctuate on the scale, but it doesn't cause that much weight gain.
Yeah. And ultimately, it's giving yourself power.
Yeah.
Like it's when you're blaming the pill
Yep.
or when you're blaming an external reason with why you've gained the weight, it's like, okay, if I realize that, okay, maybe I just didn't know how to manage it properly and that's why I continue to gain weight, then you now take back control of the power, because you're like, well, you know what? I'm going to learn to manage it properly. So even though I might be having a medication that says it causes weight gain because it makes me more hungry or something like that, you can now take back the power, realizing, okay, well, what are some strategies I can do to help me to lose weight and to deal with those hunger issues so that I don't have to eat more calories and end up actually gaining body weight? Because we have plenty of clients who lose weight even while on the pill, who lose weight while still having Hashimoto's, who lose weight with insert whatever reason they can't lose weight or why they think it at the start. And once they take back that power and realize, oh, actually, okay, maybe I have been a little bit more careless and I haven't been dialing things in properly, or maybe I thought I was dialing in things properly, but I just didn't know how to, then that's where they can actually take control and then change their life.
Yeah, that's so important, because we're not disregarding anyone that has more difficulty losing weight, because some people have it a little bit harder than everyone else. But what we like to always tell clients is that it's not impossible. And a lot of people have that belief of like, oh, it's not possible for me to lose weight, so what's the point? I'll just eat whatever. Where we want to empower you to be like, no, just because it's not going to be as quick as your friend over there doesn't mean it's not possible. So we might as well keep moving forward and, losing weight, trying to make sure our nutrition's on point, make sure our movement's on point, and stepping forward instead of just staying in the same position, feeling, like a victim and feeling like you can't make any change, because you always can. It just might be a little bit slower than others. But every step forward, every day you stick to your habits is one day closer than you were before. Another thing I wanted to talk about as well is how women, especially, I don't know if males feel this way because I work with only women, but a lot of women feel quite triggered sometimes by weighing themselves in daily. And I think that comes down to a mindset from maybe in their early 20s or teenage years where they just looked at the scale as that's their only worth. And today we wanted to talk about why it is important to jump on the scale and why it's really important to get that data every single day.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where when you start to build up a fear for something, avoiding it isn't how you deal with fear, right? The only way to actually deal with fear is to lean into it more and have gradual exposure to overcome the fear. So sometimes people are scared of the scale because they've had bad experiences with it, where they get really emotional with it because they're not fully understanding their body and why it fluctuates, or they were starting to be scared of coming on the scale because if they were honest with themselves, they haven't been doing what they needed to change their weight, and they know that inside. So then they're scared to weigh in on the weekend or whenever their next weigh-in was, because they know that they haven't been on track.
Yes, some of my clients wait till Wednesday to weigh themselves in. They're like, or they do weigh themselves in on Monday but don't log it in the app because they're like, it's going to ruin how the scale, the graph looks. I'm like, no, you need to always track that weight to remind yourself, once you understand all these reasons, the reason that I did fluctuate today is because of the reasons and what I did over the weekend. That's okay. But if you're just avoiding it and going, it doesn't exist, it's okay, you're living in, what's the word?
Just denial.
Denial, that's the word, denial. And I just think it's better to expose yourself more to overcome it, just like with your finances. If you just keep tapping your card and hoping that it says approved, that's not a great way to live your life. You should be looking at your finances. It's data. The same way we look at our scale number, it's data for your coach to look at or just for you to look at to understand why our bodies are responding in a certain way. I know for myself, and if you know me personally, you will know that I used to struggle with blood tests. I'm talking mad phobia. I would have to work myself up for weeks to mentally go to get a blood test, and then I would have to take the whole day off after. I'm not even joking. When now, because last year I had so many blood tests, like pretty much weekly, I can go now by myself. Like, I know you might be thinking, relax, it's just a blood test. But for me, going by myself at a random time during the day, not having to take the whole day off, is tremendous. And the only reason I was able to do that is because I exposed myself constantly to that fear. So if you are scared of jumping on the scale and logging your weight, I can guarantee by just constantly weighing yourself in, you will remove the complete emotion with the number on the scale, and you'll just look at it as data.
And the anxiety builds in the gap.
Yeah, great point.
In the gap between weigh-ins. So when you weigh in daily, first of all, don't weigh in daily if you're not like trying to lose weight, because it's just going to mess you up because you're not doing the thing. So you need to follow a great nutrition plan and a good training plan and have a great coach to help you to lose weight. Then when you're losing weight and you're following the things that will help you lose weight and guarantee it, then you can start weighing in daily, because you're going to start to see the fluctuations and you're going to see it trending down over time.
Yeah.
Right? And it's in weighing in daily that you keep the anxiety away, because you start to understand your body, but also you're not waiting massive gaps like a month and then hoping and crossing your fingers that everything you've done for that month has equaled weight loss a month later.
Yeah.
And that's how some people get broken, because the problem with weighing in monthly is, like we talked about, you can fluctuate 2 to 3 kilos. So maybe in that month when you first weighed in, maybe you were weighing in at the low and you were 70 kilos, but your range is 7 to 73, right? But then at the end of the month, you've been really good. You've been exercising, you've been eating well, you've been following all these things. And then you weigh in and you're heavier, you're 71 kilos. So you've just gone from 70 to 71. You're like, what's the point? I was like perfect. I trained every day.
Yep.
I've been following a diet, saying no to all my favorite foods, and I'm a kilo heavier after all of that a month later. But if they weighed in one more day, they didn't realize that they were 70 on the first day, 71 on the last day of the month, but 70 on the first day was the bottom of the range, where 71 may have been the top of the range, and they were actually 68 if they weighed in the next day. Yeah. And so that's why I love people weighing in regularly and just seeing the overall trend, because then you start to trust your body, you start to see the progress, and you gain momentum each day. Again, not worrying when you're seeing that high weigh in, because you start to see the pattern in a graph. as you're actually following the plan.
Yeah.
And again, it builds anxiety in the gap. So if you've waited 3-4 days, that's where you build anxiety because you're like, oh, now I'm just hoping it's going to
you hope it's low. But when you weigh more regular, you're able to fix things quicker. Like I know if you're weighing in only once a month, you could have fixed maybe the issue of not being in a calorie deficit 2 weeks earlier than that. So it's the more you're exposing yourself, the quicker you can make adjustments. I think another thing to talk about as well is not everyone can rely on the scales. Like I know a lot of our clients are quite shorter, and when you're shorter and more petite, your scale isn't going to change as much as someone who's quite taller or has a lot of weight to lose. So Janos, what are some other ways that people can, not just look at the weight, scale weight, but also determine how their bodies are changing as well?
Yeah, that's a great point, to not allow just one factor to derail you, because your weight might be showing that you're experiencing a fluctuation today. But maybe when you're looking at how you're fitting in your clothes, you're like, oh, but my clothes are fitting better.
Yes.
Or maybe when you look at your body visually, so we get our clients to take weekly progress photos, you might see, oh, okay, you know what? Maybe my weight's not changing because, again, if you're losing from 100 kilos down, then yeah, you'll see drastic changes in the body weight on the scales.
Yeah.
But as you get leaner and you're like, okay, you're close to your desired body weight, even though you start losing weight and you might be losing body fat, the fluctuations are outweighing the amount of weight that you're losing at that point. And that's where your girth measurements, for example, we take measurements around your waist. So instead of just taking your weight, you look at your waist measurements. You might notice, okay, my weight's gone up, but my photos are looking better. I'm feeling better in my clothes. They're feeling looser. You know what? When I'm putting my hands on my hips, I'm noticing it's getting slimmer.
Yeah.
And when I'm looking at my girth measurements, my neck's getting slimmer, my waist is getting slimmer, my legs are getting slimmer. So you can start to look at all of those different measurements together to ease your anxiety, to realize, okay, it's not just what the scale is telling me today. But remember, scale weight is the easiest one to take daily, which is why we do that, versus always trying to take a tape measure every single day.
Yeah.
So some of those other measurements you might do less frequently, but it's just reminding yourself and, again, zooming out to look at the overall trend, realizing, okay, yeah, today might be a little bit up from yesterday.
Yeah.
But overall, because I've been following the plan, I've lost 2, 3, 4, 10 kilos, 20 kilos, and overall I've been losing weight.
Yeah, and also remember that you see your body every single day. And I know when I do monthly check-ins sometimes with my clients and they come into the gym and I see them, I get amazed by some clients because I'm like, wow, you look so different in 4 weeks, but they can't tell the difference. They're quite shocked because you see yourself every day. You see yourself slowly, progressively losing weight. It's so small that you can't see that massive difference. But if you do see someone a few weeks later there and they tell you, wow, you're looking different. What are you doing? Like take that and go, oh, like it must be working. Just because the scale isn't changing, maybe there's other factors that are changing. And I know a lot of our clients sometimes go, oh, Mel, maybe I've put on weight over the weekend because I put on muscle mass. And sometimes I've had a client once say to me, and I was telling Janos this before, they put on, I think it was like 2 kilos over a few week period. They're like, maybe Mel, it's muscle mass. I'm like, over 2 weeks, you haven't put on 2 to 3 kilos of muscle mass. Like muscle mass, it does play a factor into when you are losing body fat as well. And that's why the scale doesn't represent everything, but it doesn't impact you as much. It's usually you're eating too much.
And you can only really build, when you do everything right, you can only really build in your first year of training 1 kilo of muscle per month.
Exactly. So it's not 2 kilos
per week, right? So if you find it per week, then 1 kilo, that's 500, that's 200 grams muscle maximum that you could build per week. And after your first year of training, it tapers off. So you find you get slower and slower muscle growth over time as you get to your natural potential. So, your first year, you might experience 1 kilo of muscle growth per month. Then the second year of training, you might experience 0.5 kilo of muscle growth per month if you're following a good program, doing everything properly. And then in your third year of consistent training, it tapers off to only 200 grams of muscle per month.
Yeah, the more
growth.
advanced you get, the harder it gets to build muscle.
So most likely, it's not that you've built 3 kilos of muscle and then that's why you're not seeing the scale weight. It's more likely to be one of those other factors, or you've just been overeating and you need to fix something in the diet. Or maybe you haven't been overeating, you've been hitting the nutrition calories that have been set, but they need to be adjusted over time because your metabolism has changed.
And that's another key point there too. One last point I wanted to talk about, since we're talking about training, is remember that when your muscles, after a really heavy, struggling session, your muscles hold a lot of water while they're repairing. So if you do have a very hard leg session the day before and you do fluctuate the next day, that's also another factor that can cause that, because your body is holding onto a lot of water while the muscle is trying to repair. So that's another really key point as well.
No, I love that. So to wrap up this episode, I just wanted to go through quickly how to interpret your weight. I know we've already touched on it a little bit, but the main thing to realize, hopefully you know this by now, is that it's not just going to be a single trend line of going down day after day.
It's not a smooth slippery dip. It's quite a bumpy one.
So even if you are perfect with your nutrition, with your training, with following the plan, realize, and I'll put it above, that your weight's not going to be a trend line going down. It's going to look up and down, and that's normal. It's supposed to be up and down.
Yeah, and when you see us, sorry to interrupt you there, but when you see us post, dramatic weight loss from clients, we show you the zoomed out version of that client's graph where it goes from point A to point B and it looks like a line down. But if you zoom into that graph, you will see all the bumps there where they're freaked out about their weight going up and down. But over time, when you've trusted the process and followed the plan, not your mood, you see that it does eventually go down if you're doing the right things.
Yeah. So just remember, it's going to be fluctuating day to day, up and down. So that's normal. So what you want to look at when you're interpreting and you're looking at your weight graph to see what your progress is doing is you want to look at, are the highs getting lower over time? So you're comparing the highs of each of the weight fluctuations to the lows. Are the lows getting lower over time? So if you're looking at your weight graph, I like to literally get a pen and paper and, well, not pen and paper, but just draw it on the screen and just draw a line over where are the highs going? Are they going down? Where are the lows going? Are they going down? And you can just look at the overall trend line of the fluctuations to see what direction are they going. If it's going down, you're doing well. Keep following the plan. If it's going across, just like kind of neutral, staying around the same weight, so maybe it's fluctuating between 70 to 71 and it just keeps going that way for 2 to 3 weeks, change the plan, it's not working. If it's going up, change the plan, it's not working. And if it's going down, so if I was 70 to 71, but now it's going, 68 to 70, now it's going 67 to 69, now it's going 66 to 67. If I'm seeing that fluctuation going down over time, then you don't need to go more aggressive because then you risk making something unsustainable, but just keep following the plan, you're doing well.
Yeah, and we encourage our clients to, even if they have a big weight loss goal, to celebrate every kilo that they lose. So don't be like, I'm only going to be happy when I get to this exact weight. Really enjoy every single kilo that you go down and celebrate it. I know Janos does a really nice thing with his clients and I love it so much. I might steal it. But every time a client gets into, for example, the 70s for the first time or the 60 kilo range, he sends them a playlist on Spotify going like, welcome to the 60s. And it's all songs about the 60s, for example. And I'm like, I think that's so sweet. Like we should celebrate every kilo. And like our clients will both of our clients will all know that we never, like if they say, Mel, my goal is to lose 20 kilos, we're not going to set you a 20 kilo weight loss goal on the app. We do it 1 kilo by 1 kilo and we both acknowledge and celebrate every time that kilo is lost because this is a journey that is worth celebrating and it can be a really fun journey when you don't just rely on the end product.
Yeah. And a big point to realize is that when you hit that milestone, let's say if you I like to do it in 2 to 3 kilo increments. So I might set a weight milestone for 3 kilos down. Once I hit that milestone, celebrate, but realize that the next day you're most likely going to bounce back up.
Don't get depressed. Don't get depressed.
So it's like when you hit it, remember your body still fluctuates daily. Yep. So when you hit it, that's your new low, you're hitting a new low. But then your high is now a new low as well, but it will go back up to the new high.
Yeah.
And then set the milestone down, another 2 or 3 kilos down. And then you'll hit that new low again. And again, it'll go higher the next day and you've just like, I've just undone my progress. But that's where we just follow your favorite quote, right? Which is?
Follow the plan, not the mood.
Right? So this whole episode is around removing your mood, removing the emotions from the data entry of just taking your body weight every day. And remember, the daily measurements of your body weight is the only way to overcome the fear of it. Because if you avoid something, the fear only grows.
Yep.
So the only way to like remove the fear of anything in your life is to have gradual exposure to the fear and to do it more and more frequently. Like, for example, if you haven't gone to, like we all experienced this in COVID, if you haven't gone to a social environment for a while, a group setting.
Yeah, I'm like, how do I talk to people?
Yeah, your first party back, you're like, how do I socialize?
Our first party back after COVID was our wedding. Can you imagine having 200 people in a room and being like, so do you like cheese?
I love it. But bringing it back to weight loss again, it's the same thing, right? The more you avoid something, the more the anxiety grows. So just save this episode, send it to a friend who you know needs it as well. But just remind yourself every time you're experiencing weight fluctuations, it doesn't mean, I'm fluctuating, so therefore I'm not going to weigh myself ever again.
Yep.
No, it's healthy to weigh yourself, but do it realizing why it fluctuates and realize that a 2 to 3 kilo fluctuation range isn't wrong. It's not abnormal. You're not weird. Your body's not messed up. it's proper, like that's what your body is supposed to do to help you function properly.
Yeah, be proud of your body. Your body's working for you. And always remember that whatever you're consuming, whatever you're doing to your body will respond to whatever you're doing. So really ask yourself when you do have a fluctuation and you can realistically go, no, I've been 100% great with my nutrition and my training and everything. Then go to this list and go, oh, it must be one of these.
I love it. Well, I think let's wrap it up there. I think that's enough. I think they understand that they can just follow the plan. Don't follow your mood. Don't let things rattle you. So whenever you're experiencing weight fluctuations, just keep going. You're doing the right thing. It's normal. Just follow the plan and you'll see the results.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed this episode. If you loved it, please follow us on Spotify and YouTube and Apple Podcasts. Leave a comment, share with your friends, post us on social media. We absolutely love to see it. And we hope you all live the Pro Body lifestyle.